So I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible because it is late and I have to get some sleep before work. And I have a lot of notes, so I'm going to try and rip through this as quickly as possible while giving y'all the best show that I could possibly give y'all. So, yeah, here we go. So, TLC happened, I'll say, tonight-ish, yesterday-ish, because it's like Monday morning. So, yeah, so TLC happened recently, and, so I'm about to run down all the results and give you my quick thoughts on just everything that happened. There's a lot that happened. First off, we had the kickoff show with Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks, and as always, Sasha Banks is always a plus for any show. And she looked extremely sexy. I even told my son that is my girlfriend and that she is my future wife. I hope I'm not sounding creepy and like a stalker. But in any case, yeah, she is my future wife. So I don't care who she's married to. Once she sees me, it's just going to be like magic. She's going to get a divorce and me and her is just going to live happily ever after. But her and Alicia Fox had a decent match. I wasn't really too... for the match in a sense. Really didn't care for it too much. I do care to see Sasha Banks, but for this match I really didn't care too much for it. And plus it was on the pre-show, so I mean, who really pays attention to the pre-show? I mean, come on, really. But Sasha Banks win with the bank statement. Then after that, the show actually starts off with a women's match. So it was a back-to-back women's match. So the TLC pay-per-view officially starts with Asuka versus Emma. And in this match, I was surprised. I thought this was going to be like more of a jobber squash match, but it really wasn't. Emma gave some offense. She gave some good offense, and she really didn't job out to her. Asuka hits her with several submission holds, showing what type of like submission specialist she is. To me, not really having seen a lot of Asuka matches, I felt like Asuka was kind of holding back a little bit. It didn't seem like she was giving her all. Maybe it was just going against Emma. Maybe Emma wasn't the type of competition that can bring that out. Maybe she just wasn't really trying to give too much all in a match that's just like this type of match. Maybe it would be better served in a match maybe against a Becky Lynch or a Charlotte or a Sasha or somebody of that caliber. But I just felt like she was kind of holding back. But Asuka wins by submission, giving the Asuka lock. And so we go on to Miz having a backstage pep talk to the rest of his team members. And so from that we move on to a walk with Elias. And so from this one was kind of like, I ain't gonna say 50-50 because it was kind of good when Elias talked. Just the way that Elias talks to the crowd is always hilarious. I felt like it went good until Jason Jordan came out and started throwing produce. Now this, I guess in a sense, was a way to get like the crowd to cheer for Jason Jordan, but they really didn't, because once he walked away and the spotlight was kind of on Jason Jordan, the crowd really didn't cheer or anything. They were just cheering once they saw the produce thrown at Elias, but beyond that, I don't think they really cared for Jason Jordan. He hasn't really got that popularity. Now, if they do what I said that I wanted them to do in like episode 1 of the Triple W podcast was put like him and Apollo Crews in a tag team together, maybe that would get them, maybe that'll get both of them to a place where, you know, they could be loved by the crowd. But anyway, so that segment happened, you know, a time filler, I guess you can call it. And then next we have Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann versus Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick, or the Brian Kendrick. And so Alexander, he shows off his athletic skills or his athletic talent, which I really feel like he should be put into the main roster. He should be put on the SmackDown brand. He really should. He shows it off with like a lot of kicks, like some really impressive kicks. Swan hits the Phoenix Splash on Kendrick to break up the captain's hook that he has on Cedric. And this happened later on in the match. And then basically the match ends it off with Cedric hitting the lumbar check to Kendrick for the victory. And this match, even though I didn't have a lot of notes on it, it was a very awesome match. It was a very, very good match. Cedric the Entertainer. Wow. Cedric Alexander, this is a guy that I am lobbying for, that he needs to be put on the main roster. He is incredible. Rich Swann, even he impressed me with this match. This was a very good match. This, you cannot smirk your nose up at it. I guess that's how you say it. You can't turn your nose up at this match. This is a very good match. A very, very good match. So we move on to Alexa Bliss having an interview before the match. And she says something to where, like, she basically talks about how Mickie James calls her biscuit butt and all that stuff. And she said that she don't even know what that means. She thinks that she has a really nice butt. Me, first of all, like, as always, just like with Sasha, Alexa Bliss is always a plus on any show. So that is a plus in itself, just her being on there. Secondly, I agree with her wholeheartedly. I don't know what biscuit butt is, but she really does have a nice butt. And just for the record, I love biscuits. So take that however you want to take it. And then next we have Alexa Bliss. That basically goes into the Alexa Bliss and Mickie James match for the Raw Women's Championship. And so Mickie, she comes out looking good as well. Like, this old woman thing, this old women kind of like gimmick thing. I ain't gonna say gimmick thing, but like storyline that they're pushing for Mickie. I don't know. It just doesn't fit because Mickie looks awesome. She looks great. And she's not even that old. I mean, she maybe mid-30s? She looks great. Like, I mean, and the way she moves in the ring is awesome. So, yeah, so she comes out looking good. Mickie, they get in later on in the match, they get into this whole slapping match or whatever. Or, you know what, matter of fact, I'm reading my notes wrong, so let me go back. So basically it starts off kind of slow. It gets to the point where Mickie knocks Alexa into the ropes, and she kind of pulls her hair while she's still in the ropes and smacks her on the ass. Which I myself and probably a lot of guys all over the world that didn't seen this match is probably jealous of Mickie James and want to be her in that situation because goddamn. And so moving on to Mickie showing off basically what she can do, because like I said, she moves good in the ring. She hasn't lost a step. Alexa works on the arm of Mickie, which basically she heard throughout the match. And so she works on it and she keeps working on it throughout the match. And it does play a major factor in the match. Blix takes advantage of the referee break, and then she pulls Mickie to the turnbuckle, hitting her head up against the turnbuckle, or the mid turnbuckle, as Bliss goes to plant her with the DDT for the 3 count. And this match was actually a pretty good match. It was actually done pretty well. I enjoyed it. Actually better than what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be that well. Wow. Excuse my language. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it ended up surprising me and being one of the highlights of it, which I'm going to get into shortly. So Kurt Angle and the Shield have a segment within the back, and basically the Shield make Kurt Angle an honorary Shield member for the night because he filled in for Roman Reigns. After that, we walk again with Elias, since he's going again to try to perform his song in front of the crowd because he got messed up and interrupted the first time. And so this is crazy because Elias gets crazy heat. And it's like they're doing something special with him, and hopefully they keep it going on with him. Keep going on with this whole Walk with Elias thing because it's bringing in a lot of heat to his character. And so and Jason Jordan comes out and he throws produce at him again and runs him off the stage, but still Jordan gets no cheers from the crowd. And basically he just the crowd really kind of cheers just for the fact that Elias is ran off the stage, but not really for Jordan. Next, we go into Kalisto versus Enzo, and it's a pretty decent match. I really didn't care too much for it, because you have one person, Kalisto, who does have skill, but he's not too popular. Then you have Enzo, who's really popular but has no skill, which you think that would balance out, but it doesn't. But anyway, so we have basically a few mess ups with with Kalisto throughout the match. A few botches, but it really isn't anything too major. Towards the end of the match, well, at the end of the match, Enzo pulls the outside ring sheet. I don't know what you would call it. He brings it up, and it distracts the referee to Enzo doing the eye poke to Kalisto, and then he delivers the Jordanzo, I guess that's how you pronounce it, or whatever, Jordanzo to Kalisto for the win, becoming a 2-time Cruiserweight champion, which, you know, it's obvious what was going to happen. I already explained it to you. I've already explained it, my thoughts. Wow. Let me start that over. I already explained my thoughts on episode 1 of the Triple W podcast. They wrote themselves into a corner, and this is the only way that they can get all the other cruiserweights able to challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship because of what happened some weeks ago. And so, hold on, I lost my place. Let me find my place again. And then next we have Styles versus the Demon Balor. Now, I want to know what happened to the pumpkin look, because when he was transmorphing on Raw, when he was doing the promo, he was a pumpkin. Now he's back to being a demon, but not the usual look, just a variation of like the other demon look, but whatever. Nothing big, just a little, not even a nitpick. It was just something that I just kind of like wondered, because I thought he was going to become the Pumpkin King this time. But yeah, it was a very, very competitive match, as you guys could guess it, with Demon Balor, just Finn Balor, whatever, against AJ Styles. A very, very competitive match, and it was a back and forth. The Demon Balor does the sling blade to AJ Styles and tries to go for the drop kick to the turnbuckle, but is countered by Styles. And so through this, there's a lot of counters. There was a counter by AJ Styles that turns into a fisherman's carry into a neck breaker, and then a Styles Clash is countered by Finn Balor, and then we have another counter that is another Styles counter that turns into a I guess what you call it, a sit out face buster. And basically a coup de grace that was about to be, well, almost coup de grace by Demon Balor was countered by a Pele kick, which after AJ Styles delivered her Hurricanrana off the turnbuckle to the Demon Balor. And later in the match, there was a 450 splash missed by AJ Styles, giving Balor the go ahead for a drop kick to the to the corner. And then a perfectly executed coup de grace for the win. And I want to say that this was a great match. This was one of the best matches on the card. I guess you can say, even though there are some kind of like, what am I trying to say? I guess you could say that it's a 50-50. It's bad what happened to Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, but I feel like this was actually a good replacement for what was originally put out, because really, who was excited to see a Bray Wyatt Sister Abigail combination versus the Demon Balor? Yeah, so they pulled it out of their ass. WWE made actually a good decision bringing AJ Styles to face the Demon Balor, and which actually turned out being one of the best matches on the card. So this was actually a last minute great decision. Next after that, we have another Walk with Elias, but this is a Walk with Elias going into a match between an impromptu match with Elias versus Jason Jordan. And so he tries to go ahead and like perform another song, but is interrupted by Jordan again as Jordan walks down to the ring. This match was a good match. Jason Jordan shows why he is Kurt Angle's kayfabe son, because he shows off what type of skill he holds, and it is an incredible skill, incredible talent by this young man. And I say young man, I don't even think he's that much younger than me. But in any case, I mean, he's young nonetheless. He wins with the controversial roll-up with Elias' shoulder up, but the ref doesn't see it. So it still counts in the record book. So more than likely, this is going to play a role in tonight's Raw show. And so next after that, we have the main event, the one match that everybody has been waiting on, which is the Shield and Angle versus Team Miz, which is Cesaro, Sheamus, of course The Miz, Braun Strowman, and Kane all together versus 3 people. And so I have a lot of notes on this, so this is going to carry me into the end, of course, because this is the last match. Anyway, so we go into this match with Kurt Angle accompanying the Shield coming out on their entrance, coming from the crowd. And so they basically surround the ring with chairs, and so they go up in there and just start swinging them chairs around, taking out Kane and Strowman. And Kane is almost about to go through a table later on in the match, but it's saved by Braun Strowman as he beats up Dean and Seth Rollins and stuff. But that is short-lived as they are taken out by the Shield. And so Kane and Strowman are both put on the announcer's table. And so Dean and Seth Rollins both do this incredible spot where they climb to the top of these 2 ladders and jump down with elbows, crashing Kane and Strowman through both of the tables, which is actually a pretty good spot. Next is basically that leaves the Bar and Miz to pick apart the pieces of Angle, and so basically they tease doing their triple power bomb just like the Shield does to Angle, but then the Shield comes in and basically saves them. Later on in the match, Angle gives suplexes to the Miz and the Bar. Then later on we have basically Strowman taking out Kurt Angle by power slamming him through a table, which puts him out for a good little minute. From that point on, we think that he's done, but wait a moment. So Team Miz gets the upper hand, and that's basically what I'm gonna start calling him. Team Miz gets the upper hand by beating down the Shield as Angle walks out later on with officials just from the ring. Well, he doesn't walk out, but he walks out the arena, or just from the ring by officials, while they basically continue to beat down the Shield. And so Kane with the chair accidentally hits Strowman as he tries to, I believe he was trying to go after Seth Rollins, but he accidentally hits Strowman with the chair. And from that, Strowman and Kane gets in each other's face, and then basically, they try to break it up, but then the Shield jumps in and just starts going at him or whatever. And so we got the Bar tries to put Dean through a table, but it doesn't work. And you could tell by the look in their face, they knew, like, oh shit, Yeah. And then the whole crowd reacted to it, letting them know that, they didn't like that spot. And so, you get Cesaro going like, shit happens, giving that look, putting the shoulders up like, shit happens or whatever. And so from that, Strowman just takes it upon himself to be like, okay, you guys ain't put him through a table, I'm gonna have to do it. They set the table up against the corner, and so Strowman picks up Dean and power slams him through a table. No, did he power slam him? I think he threw him through a table. Anyway, he puts him through a table. And so basically Miz then goes to the top of the ramp and he basically calls out a dump truck so that he can put the Shield through there. The Shield gets put up in there, but ends up fighting their way back out. Kane later on, just to get back at Strowman for pushing him down in the ring after the chair shot, he does the unthinkable by turning on Strowman and putting him through the stage. From then on, he stands over Strowman while Strowman reaches up and grabs his foot. He looks up with a smile on his face, pulls down the chairs that are hanging from strings up, and he pulls them straight down on Braun Strowman and walks off, and then he continues the match. After that, you see Strowman come back. Well, hold on. Before I even get to that, I'm going ahead of myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. So after that, we have Kane doing the double choke slam to Rollins and Ambrose. And then we have Strowman gets back up because he's a monster. And he goes after Kane. And so it's Kane and Strowman. And basically along the way, he knocks down the Miz. As Miz tries to plead with him not to go after him. He knocks down the Miz. He knocks down Cesaro and Sheamus. But then, it's Kane and Strowman going at each other. And then Strowman beats down the team. Then basically the team gets together and throws Strowman into the dump truck. And then they give the go ahead for the dump truck to carry him out, basically neutralizing the monster among men. Team Miz continues to beat up Rollins, just basically to a 2 count after Dean breaks up the count. Angle comes back with angle slams to the bar, going after, does one to Sheamus, and then gives one to Cesaro through a table on the outside. Then Dean and Ambrose, Seth and Dean, run Kane through the barricade, basically just taking him out. And then we get Angle and the Miz up in the ring, with the Miz giving the Skull Crusher finale to Angle for the 2 count. After that, we get Kurt Angle doing the ankle lock to the Miz, in which he counters by kicking him out the ring. After that, the Miz and Angle, the Miz and Angle, the Shield and Angle all regroup, surrounding the ring like the Shield does, famously. And so they come in and deliver the Kingslayer as well as the Dirty Deeds, the Angle Slam, and then they do the Shield Bomb to the Miz, which gives Angle the 3 count for their team for the win. And so that basically ends off the pay-per-view event. This was actually a pretty damn good pay-per-view event. I really enjoyed it. They had some low spots. So the highs of it is the Asuka Emma match, which actually was a pretty decent match. The Cruiserweight match I really enjoyed. The Bliss James match was really good. The AJ Styles Demon Balor match. Do I even got to say anymore? And then the Shield Angle versus Team Miz. Yeah, this is a pay-per-view event that seemed like it wasn't going to be anything, turned out to be better than what I expected, or more than likely probably better than anything that anybody expected. The lows was really kind of the Elias segment. I really didn't enjoy it. Of course, I enjoy Elias and doing the whole thing with the crowd and, walk with Elias. I enjoyed that. But just the whole Jason Jordan thing, that was just, nah. But in any case, I enjoyed it. This was a good-ass pay-per-view event. And I want to say, just for my preference, or not my preference, but my rating, I'll give it a 9. If it wasn't for the whole thing of, like the AJ Styles getting replaced, or, or Bray Wyatt being replaced by AJ Styles, I don't think that this pay-per-view event would have been anything more. I think that the whole Bray Wyatt Sister Abigail thing, I don't think that match would have been the best match. I think it probably would have been a decent match, but I don't think it would have been as good as what we got with that Styles Balor match. And like I said, the Cruiserweight match, that was actually pretty good. And then the last match, the last match, the TLC match with the Shield Angle versus Team Miz. That basically what set it off. That put it up there. So I'll give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah. This was actually a pretty damn good match. Well, good pay-per-view event. That was a pretty damn good match. This is actually a pretty damn good pay-per-view event. They need to look at what they're doing with their cards, because it was kind of weird. Because usually whenever they do a TLC match or, TLC pay-per-view event, you usually have a tables match, you usually have a chairs match, you usually have a ladders match, and then you have a TLC match. And this year, all they have is a TLC match, which was kind of mind-boggling. I don't know, with these bookings that WWE has been doing lately, it kind of seems like they're half-assing a lot of stuff. Like, they're not really thinking about it. They're really not caring of what they're doing. That it just seems like they're just doing something like, oh shit, we forgot this, so let's just do this at the last moment. It really don't seem really thought out as far as what they're doing with these matchups, but hopefully it get better. This one was just kind of like luck. That's what it seemed like. This pay-per-view event was just more of luck, because this wasn't seeming like it was going to be anything except for like the last match, and which actually really didn't, disappoint. But yeah, they had luck on their side with this match, with the last match being like really good, the cruiserweight match being really good, and then you had the AJ Styles cutting in for Bray Wyatt and having a really good match with the Demon Balor, and and then you got Alicia Fox and Sasha Banks, which was a decent match, but that match had Sasha Banks in it, so that was a plus. And then you had Alexa Bliss. Had a good match with Mickie James, but just her being on the pay-per-view event just really made it more sexier. And that's really all I gotta say about this pay-per-view event. Like I said, gave it a 9 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried my best. I'm gonna get better. Wow. I'm gonna get better when it comes to this. I'm gonna add more stuff to this. I'm trying my hardest. This is only me working on everything on my channel, from the podcast and movie reviews and everything else I'm going to be doing. So, if you like this, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you are subscribed, turn on your notifications. And that way you'll be notified for anything that drops on my channel. And this has been the second episode of the Triple W Podcast. I will catch you guys on episode 3. So, peace out.